morning, it's Monday and I don't think it's actually the morning anymore. We're 16 minutes out of the morning. It's 12:16. Hello, it is Monday, it's another weekly reading vlog and it is kind of snowing. I attempted to film the snow. It's very much a flurry of snow, none of it's settling. I really hope it doesn't settle because it is so cold and that's only going to make it colder, and the walk to the bin is going to be not pleasant. So I'm really hoping that it stops snowing or doesn't settle, but it's just gonna get colder apparently. So if I am an ice cube in the next shot, you'll know what happened to me. I'm feeling really productive entering into this week. I feel like I set myself up really well for the week ahead on Sunday last night. I cleaned the whole flat yesterday, really cleaned it. Like, I clean every week, but I feel like every other week I really go in for like the deep clean. Why does my phone always interrupt me when I am talking to you guys? So yeah, I did like the deep clean on Sunday, and then I just got everything ready. Everything was neat and tidy. I even laid my clothes out for the next day. I set my alarm earlier than I would normally so I could get up and do a workout, which made me feel more ready for the day. And then I just sat down under my new weighted blanket, which has arrived. I've got to show you all of these things. I've got the hoodie thing as well, I'm very excited. But I sat down under that and watched 2 episodes of Bridgerton. I also finished my book. So I finished The Girls I've Been, which is a thriller-y type YA set in a bank heist situation. There's a young girl who has been a con artist all her life because of her mum, and she is trapped in this bank robbery that's not going quite to plan with her 2 friends and various other people, and it kind of flips between the narrative of what's happening there and then her past, looking at the people she's had to be in the past because of her mum. I really enjoyed this book. It was just as good as everyone said it was, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, I think it came out as. I enjoyed the inclusivity that this book brought with it. I actually said that word. I always really struggle with that word, I don't know why. Inclusivity. Inclusivity. Okay, I said it right. We're just gonna glaze over that. You know what I mean. It felt like you were reading an actual story of actual people, as much as it was very far-fetched, but they weren't without flaws. They also were just genuine humans, and I also enjoy the more books I read where sexuality is just in the book and it's just part of who the characters are and it's not a big deal. I appreciate that very much because I think that is normalising it a lot more and normalising different types of sexuality a lot more, that it's just part of the book. And I'm reading more and more books like that at the moment, and I'm really enjoying seeing that just become part of fiction now as well. So of course I am now reading a different book. I have picked up Earthlings by Sayaka Murata, and this book has gripped me already. I'm not very far in at all. I'm 54 pages in, but it's a very short book. See, I think it's about 200 and something pages. So far, so when I picked this up, I couldn't quite remember what the blurb detailed about it, so I've kind of just gone in a little bit blind. I knew it was something to do with a girl who was convinced that aliens were going to come and pick her up from a spaceship. So far, we are met with our main character, who is a young girl of, I think she's about 11 or 12, and it's going back summer to summer as she goes to visit her family, and the build up to her looking forward to go and visit her family, because all of her family go around her grandma's house and they do that every summer. So we see the build up to that each time she goes back, and I think that we're in the 3rd year of it now, of only 50 pages, so we're seeing her age, we're seeing her develop. This book, I didn't really know what to expect going in, and so far it has surprised me. I've literally had my jaw on the floor. I would say that this book contains trigger warnings for child abuse, sexual assault of a child type of crossover. This is something that's been explored a little bit so far within this book, and I didn't know that was coming. And that's fine. I'm not somebody that tends to get triggered by anything, so it's not, I'm not saying that because it triggered me or anything. It's just like, oh god, that really surprised me in the plot, which I think it was very cleverly done in there, because you could see it coming and then suddenly, but you could only see it coming from like the page before it happened, and suddenly you're met with this situation that completely changes the direction the plot's going in and changes the way that character acts and the way that character grows as well. So far this is very gripping and I feel very invested in this little girl's life. I want to know what happens to her, I want to know if she's okay, I want to know how she's affected, I want to know if this stops. I am hooked. I think Sayaka Murata has done a really excellent job of making us feel for this little girl and feel for what she's going through and want to help her and rescue her from this situation. And seeing the little girl's innocence portrayed as well is very clever. I don't think it's an easy feat to write from the perspective of a child as an adult and get it so accurate in the way that she would respond to things and the way that her brain is so creative. Like, immediately we're thrown into a really creative little girl who's just coming up with this world around her, and I thought, gosh, how cute, how sweet, this is really lovely. And then it took a turn of like, oh, it's actually very poignant and very serious as well. So there are some really lovely moments of creativity, but this is also not one to go into lightly. Sayaka Murata is the author of Convenience Store Woman, which I really enjoyed last year. This is translated from Japanese as well. There is such an art to translation. Every time I read a translated book, I'm just like, God, the way they translate the sentences to make them still beautiful, that is a whole art in itself. So this is what I'm reading. The week ahead is basically just going to be the same as normal, but we're going to make it fun in a vlog. It's Tuesday and I am out for a walk in the snow. There's a bit stuck in my hair. It was flurrying all day yesterday and it's continued today. It's not really settled, but it looks very pretty. I'm walking down a very big hill. I don't know if you can tell how big the hill is, but this is the hill that all the kids come and sledge down. It's a fantastic, fantastic hill for sledging. I'll show you when I get to the bottom for scale, but I thought I would come out for a walk this morning. It's cold, but it's not like, I'm not frozen, I'm quite layered up, so I don't feel like I'm gonna be too cold when I get home, hopefully, because my flat was very cold this morning. I feel like it's actually warmer outside than it was in my flat, so that's a great sign. But yeah, I thought it was a nice start to the day. Obviously, we'll give you reading updates when I'm home and things, but here's my little wintry, snowy walk. See, there's the sledging hill. It's kind of the perfect slope, I feel, and then you just kind of come to a steady end before you fly into the trees. I'm eyeing up next year's Christmas tree. I think this one will do nicely. I so want to walk on this, but that is just not a good idea. Should we be a child and try it? Love that little tiny frozen puddle. Well, giant frozen puddle. So this is the situation we're currently dealing with, and I'm okay with it. I mean, what I'm not okay with is why this is the situation. I'm very cold. It is freezing outside, which means in my flat it's freezing because I just can't seem to get the temperature right. I am not someone to scrimp on heating. I'm very happy to crank it up, make it really warm, but I don't have enough radiators in this flat, and I can't quite afford to get one put in the hallway because they are not cheap. And yeah, that's what we're met with at the moment, so this is fun. On the plus side, I do get to wear this absolutely beautiful hoodie thing. It's a hooded blanket. Really hugs my figure, I think. It really shapes me, do you think? Got a giant pocket. What more could you want? This is, because I know people are probably going to ask, it's from Cuddly, so it's KUDD.LY. And I love it. It arrived at the weekend and it is very warm. It's a blanket, it's a wearable blanket, and I'm happy about it. I mean, look at the hood, it's like a friggin' house. But what's very important to tell you is something I discovered yesterday about my book. This is my book. Oh, it's a bit dark now, hang on. This is my book, Sayaka Murata's Earthlings. We're gonna talk about it in a bit. Oh, I look so hilarious. Hang on. I refuse to take the hood off completely because it's just too cold. This is my book. The book has a funny texture on the words. And I was like, oh, what's this? Well, friends, let me show you. It glows in the friggin' dark. What? How cool is that? I found this out last night when I put the book on my bedside table, turned the light off, and I was like, what is that light? I was like, oh my God, it's my book is glowing. So I've got a glowing book, everyone. My book is better than yours because it glows. It's very hard for me to be serious when I have this on, but there are some quite serious topics covered in this book, and I just wanted to raise them quickly because I spoke a little bit about this yesterday because I wasn't as far in. So I'm now there, wherever that is. So page 124, 25. I was reading a lot of this last night. So to start with, this is fantastic. I think it's brilliant and I'm really finding it a very interesting book to read, and I really enjoy the themes Sayaka Murata weaves through her books about society and society's expectations and the fact that not everyone has to follow this factory line to get married, get a job, have a baby. Not everyone has to do those things, and she always talks about breaking the norms in her books. She did it with Convenience Store Woman. She's done it with Earthlings. But what I will say, yesterday I mentioned that this book contained sexual assault of a child. Now, that, as a trigger warning, is actually something that has transpired to be quite more serious. I mean, obviously sexual assault of a child is already immensely serious, but what I was reading was implications and touching, but above clothes. It has now become involved with a child rape scene, which was very detailed. Didn't expect it. Did not expect it. I have never read a scene like that before, and I think that it was very powerfully done. I was reading it feeling completely shocked with my jaw open, thinking, oh my god. It was horrific, but the way she wrote it, I don't know how else you could write a scene like that is so serious and so awful. But from the child's perspective, when they don't understand what's happening, because the girl was 11, she doesn't understand what's happening. She doesn't know what these things are. She's trusting an adult who is completely abusing her. And yeah, it took me by surprise. So please be aware, if you're going into this book, that there are scenes like that, and they are detailed. They're not skipped over. They are detailed and from the perspective of the child that's experiencing it. I would genuinely recommend this to people if you think that that's something you could read about and would like this kind of book. I suppose this is considered literary fiction, is it? I need to look that up. But honestly, it's just a lot heavier than I expected it to be, because Convenience Store Woman certainly dealt with some important themes, but this definitely goes down a different route of what it's looking at, particularly with the involvement of children and sex and sexual assault and their understanding of what it all is. And I just think that Sayaka Murata is an incredibly talented writer to be able to write from the perspective of this girl in the way that she does. I don't want to say much more because I don't want to spoil it, but those definitely are the trigger warnings that I would say comes with this book. I'm sorry I'm telling you this when I look like a gigantic, well, I don't know what I look like, just I look like a giant blanket, which is what I am wearing, so that's okay. But that's my update so far. I am, again, I said yesterday I didn't want to say the word enjoying, but I'm finding this a really interesting and compelling read. And I really, really think Sayaka Murata is going to be an auto-buy author for me in the future. And it glows in the dark. Hello, good morning. It's a day of the week, Wednesday, and I have a box. I have a box from Goldsboro Books. This is my first ever Goldsboro Books order, and I feel like I've waited forever to have a copy of this book because everyone else seems to have it. So we're going to be opening this up and showing you the exciting special edition I've got. That is Protected. Can you guess what it is yet? It's my copy of The Mask Falling. I feel like I've been waiting for ages for this book. This is my favourite cover of all of her books. And this is the black sprayed pages Goldsboro edition. This is not a book I feel compelled to have loads of different copies of, so the one I got I wanted to be special. I love that even the special edition has a sticker on the front of it. And it's signed! I have got number 522. Very exciting, very exciting. I've now got to try and somehow rearrange my shelf. Also, I'm gonna feel weird about taking this plastic cover off of it, but I'm not buying this to sell it on, so I don't feel the cover is needed. Oh, it's so pretty. It's got like an iridescent sparkle on it. Yeah, and that's not from the cover, like there is an actual shine on the printing of the book. Yeah. Reading update wise, Sayaka Murata, Earthlings. I have got very, very limited amount of this left. I could have finished it last night, but I was tired. Yesterday I said that this book was very heavy in places, not in the writing itself doesn't feel like it's a heavy book to read, but the topics it deals with, very heavy. And now I'm just like, I said I was enjoying it as much as you could enjoy something that deals with something so heavy. Yesterday when I was reading it, I just thought it was getting very strange with the characterizations, but not in a bad way. Like the whole premise is going against what society wants you to do. And my God, the other characters in this are making me so mad. And I think that's testament to it being a brilliantly written book. But the way that they're writing every other character apart from the two that we're following the second part of the book is that they are all just functioning parts of this factory, the factory being society. So the implication that women are just there to have babies, get married, have babies and do the housework and things, and men are there to work and provide financially, and it makes me so mad. I'm pretty sure this is set in now, I think. There's no indication as to a year. So, there's at one point, she asks to go somewhere. We see this girl go from being a child to an adult, by the way, in the process of this book. She asks to go somewhere, and the guy that she's talking about it with says, well, we don't have permission from your husband, so you probably shouldn't. And I'm just like, the patriarchy is real here. I hate it deeply. But the idea as well that the women just have to have babies, there is no consideration for women that are struggling to have babies. There's no consideration for women that don't want to have babies or do want to but want to wait until they're older. Our main character, I think, is in her early 30s or her mid 30s, and people are saying like how her body clock's running out and she doesn't have much time left to have children. And it's just like, allow women to form their own paths. I'm not saying that's the flaw of the book at all, because that's what the author's trying to make us think. The author is doing an incredibly good job of making us feel compelled by the fact that women are being treated like particles of a machine. So it got a bit weird in places with the way that they were talking about this and the way these two characters view the world, but I think also these two characters that we're following have been seriously abused within their childhood, and this is their healing and the way that they're coping with everything. It's their coping mechanisms for life and how they see society. So it's really interesting. It's got very, very strange, stranger than it already was, definitely heavier in places. And I don't know what it's going to come out as on Corpile. I was thinking it would come out as a 5-star for the first part of it, and now I'm thinking maybe a 4? I don't know. So the door just went and it was Amazon, and I was like, okay, I ordered mints from Amazon because yes, I ordered my mints from Amazon because they don't seem to be attachable in an online food shop. Can't buy mints. Anyway, point being, I was like, oh, it's my mints, and it was mint-sized packet. This is just a weird way to start a clip. And I opened it and I was like, I'll open my mints. And I was like, this isn't mints, this is a book. And it's a book. It's Meet Cute Club by Jack Harbon. And this one is one on my wish list. So someone's bought me a book off my wish list, which is super, super kind. I'm super excited because this is a book about books. It's a romance. It's set in a bookshop. What more could we want? It's about two guys who both work in a bookshop. And I think it might be like a hate to love lightly. Like one of them annoys the other one and doesn't like their taste in books and then asks to join the Meet Cute Club. Don't know what that is yet, but they both work in a bookshop, which is super exciting. And it came with a little note from Nicola. She said, congratulations on passing your diploma. Thank you, Nicola. I haven't read this, but you deserve some fluffy books about books. Look forward to hearing how it is on your channel. From Nicola at knickknacknew15. Excellent username. Thank you so much, Nicola. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to read this one for ages. It's not too big either. This might be a book for this weekend, for like Valentine's Day book. And it's pink. I don't have many pink books. I said this when I got my period book last week. I don't have many pink books. So thank you so, so, so much, Nicola. I'm just cutting up an apple as a snack. And if you can hear loud drilling noises, it's because there's scaffolding being put up outside of my flat. There it is. See, isn't it fun? That was meant to be done in the start of January. I think the second week of January. And there's a leak in my roof, but I don't own the roof. I'm just on the top floor of the flat. So thankfully, not my problem. Well, it is my problem because it's leaking into my bedroom and causing a damp patch in the ceiling, which is good, fun times. And I've been nagging them to fix it because every time there's a storm, I can see that my ceiling is physically wet and I don't want that to drip on my things. So they've finally decided to actually come out to fix it, despite the fact they were meant to come and fix it last month. And they just randomly rocked up with scaffolding today, and I had loads of work calls this afternoon, which I've now had, and I was just like putting myself on mute like every few seconds in the work call because I was like, I'm so sorry, but there is drilling going on. So yeah, that's fun. But basically, yeah, they're fixing the roof, which is a good thing. It's a good thing they're fixing the roof. I just wish that I'd have known it was today they weren't doing it, because then I would have been able to prep my workload a bit more, because I had to film a video today for work and couldn't because of that. So, but yeah, just cut myself up an apple, Pink Lady apple, the best of the apples. And I've got like 10 pages left of this. I haven't really taken a break from work today. I've nearly finished. What time is it? Yeah, I've got 15 minutes left. Shush. Sorry, probably wasn't a good time to film, but there isn't a good time at the moment because that's constant. Yeah, I've got 15 minutes left at work, so I'm gonna finish this after work. but I didn't really take a lunch break, so I kind of read at my desk for a little bit. I'd like to add to my list of trigger warnings: brutal attacks of people and cannibalism. That's described quite heavily as well, and the parts of making a body ready to eat is also described quite well. Well, when I say well, I mean detailed. It wasn't a scene I enjoyed reading. I don't get what this book has become. It's not what I expected at all. Sorry, I'm trying to turn my light off with my elbow. It's not working. There we go. Did I get it? Oh no, the door's shut. Ah! I'm trying to shut all the doors at the moment so I can retain the heat because I'm cold. Yeah, I don't get what this book is doing. I don't get it anymore. I got it, oh wow, that was bright. Like, to start with, I was like, okay, it's good. We like it. It's a good book. It's a good book. And now I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's still an exceptional piece of writing. It's just like, it's very detailed and completely gruesome at points, which I just didn't expect from it. It's fine. It's not like, I'm often somebody that I don't tend to find anything really particularly triggering. The only things I don't like reading about are things that I don't like reading about for personal experiences, such as like I don't like reading books with OCD in case that gives me more OCD ways to think, because I have OCD, so I don't really like reading that kind of thing for that reason. But other than that, I'm okay. I don't like cheating storylines either, because I just don't like them. I just find them meh, unneeded to glamorize cheating. But other than that, I'm pretty much good. So yeah, this has thrown me because I'm like, what is the plot of this book anymore? I don't know. I mean, it's still a good book. It's just grotesque and gruesome and brutal and blunt and descriptive. I just finished this. You know that TikTok thing that's like, did a full 180? And it's like people turn around and just walk the other way, and I'm like, this book on Monday / the half of Tuesday was great. It was my favourite thing. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very enjoyable. And then darker shit started happening, and then cannibalism happened, and no. It got really, really twisted. Those last 10 pages, really, really messed up. Really, really, really messed up. So, yeah, it came as 3 stars because the writing itself was good, and the importance of the topics it dealt with, such as the child sexual abuse and rape, was talked about in a very prevalent way, and the whole aspect of trying to tell people about it and people not believing you, and like the way that was written was very powerful. And then it just, I don't know. Every review on the back is like, it was amazing, it's exhilaratingly weird and funny. I don't know why people are calling it funny. It really wasn't funny. Totally unpredictable, well it was that. And intoxicating as a sake mojito. Irresistible. I loved this book. A radical, hilarious, heartbreaking look at the garbage we have all internalized in order to fit in and survive. I totally get that this book is a huge metaphor for crushing society's expectations and the pressures that we put on ourselves and society put on us, and how everyone is just a robot as part of a machine, and that shouldn't be how we have to be. I get that side of it, and in that sense it was very, very clever. It just wasn't quite for me at the end, and I would be intrigued to see how other people responded to this. But that's 2 reviews calling it funny and hilarious. Now, I saw Tasman from Tea Books and Tasman talking about this, we're talking about Convenience Store, not this, but Convenience Store by the same author, and how people had said it was hilarious. And what we're actually dealing with is a character that is actually in a really serious situation and it's not funny, it's not comical or quirky. And the same thing's been said about this one. This is not funny or comical. It's genuinely very, very serious, and I don't know how people could have found it hilarious. There is a couple of lines that are like, oh, okay, kind of funny, but no. Hello, it's Thursday and I'm here with a really quick bookish update. I do not know what I am doing with my evening, and I'm just walking around like a something that walks around without knowing what it's doing with its evening. So I thought I would show you some books. So hi, it's still very, very cold in England, very frosty on my morning walks. Still don't have enough radiators in my flat, but radiators cost money, and so does all the work I'm having done. So ha 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 ha, it's fine, it's fine. I'll just slowly turn into an ice cube. It's cool. It's meant to get slightly warmer in the middle of winter next week. But anyway, what I'm reading is The Vagina Monologues by Eve Ensler. This is a combination of women's experiences as they go through life, specifically focusing around their vaginas and their bodies. And basically it's just, well, it's a play initially, if you've heard of it. It's a play, and this is book form where it goes through different types of monologues and different experiences told in different narratives. So there's like essay based, there's conversational based, there's more poetic based. It's really interesting. I'm really enjoying it. It's quite a speedy read. I think I read like 30 pages in 10 or 15 minutes last night when I just started it, and I haven't read much more today. But I wanted to read more non-fiction, and this is definitely a good non-fiction to get into, because this is talking about owning the confidence to say the word vagina, owning the word vagina, not having it as a taboo word, which I just hate the idea that the word vagina is taboo. Vagina, vulva, penis, they're words. They're words. You know, you give a word as much power as you want to give it, and I think give these words good power and be empowered by these words rather than feel shamed by them and that they're taboo. So that's this book. And then on Saturday I hope to move on to Meet Cute Club, which is a romance set in a bookshop. So we know I'm here for it because I like a good book about books. I thought I would join in with the trend of reading romance books this weekend because it is the weekend of Valentine's Day, the card company manufactured day to get more money out of our pockets and potentially make single people feel rubbish that they're not in relationships, and make people in relationships feel obliged to buy their partner stuff, not their parents, their partner stuff, because it's Valentine's Day. Whenever I've been either single or in relationships, I've always thought this about Valentine's Day, that it's just very card company manufactured, and it just kind of only serves to make people feel pants if they are single and it's something they feel particularly sensitive about. Now I've been single for 2 years, I don't mind as much, but to start with I was a bit like, it's not great seeing everyone being so lovey-dovey, whereas this year everyone's in lockdown, so it's not quite the same. But I've kind of transitioned more as an adult to just thinking, well, regardless, it's just a day. You're going to be watching this after Valentine's Day anyway, but point being, Valentine's Day is just any other day. Card companies have literally turned it into this day to get some money out of us. It's very much an obligation, it seems, within the retail world. You do not have to do anything with Valentine's Day if you don't want to, and if you do want to, then you can do something. Either way, it's absolutely fine, and that's absolutely up to you whether you want to do something or not. Personally, I'm just going to treat myself and be my own Valentine. Yeah! Obviously, I do have a lot of choice at the moment because of lockdown. No, I'm happy just spending the day by myself and not really making a big deal out of it, because, as I said, I just feel like it's always been made such a big deal by retail and it doesn't need to, and actually it can end up making people feel more pants about themselves. So if you're feeling pants about Valentine's Day, which was yesterday by the time you're watching this, don't feel pants, because you're amazing and you're excellent and you are enough, and you don't need to bow to the pressure of a card company manufactured day. I probably just sound like an old crone that's like, I don't like these holidays because I don't have a partner. That's not it. Honestly, it's not. I've never been into it. So that's my spiel about Valentine's Day. It's not relevant. I'm going to wait for my food shop and stare out the window now. What time is it? I've got 45 minutes before it might get here. It's going to get here between 6 and 7. Yes, 6 and 7. And I don't know whether to cook now with nothing or wait and potentially wait until 7 for it to even get here to then start cooking and then eat later than I actually want to, because I'm kind of hungry. Oh, the problems. Anyway, that's it. Friday I might not vlog because I think I'm going to have a duvet day and no makeup. And saucy on Saturday, I guess, which is Galentine's Day, another day that didn't exist until like really recently. I think that's just popped up in the last few years, hasn't it? That's like the day to be with your friends. Galentine, we should call it Palentine's Day. Then it's any friends, because not everyone, it doesn't have to be female friends, it can be any friend. I don't know. I'm just going to stop talking now and just go and edit this footage, actually. That's what I shall do whilst I wait for my food job to arrive. Hello, giving you a quick update as I rush about because I am just getting ready to go out for a Galentine's Day walk with a friend, because apparently Galentine's Day is a thing, and we're walking because I want to walk, and you're allowed to walk with one person through a daily exercise thing in the UK on lockdown, and I don't see people very often, so got my welly socks, gonna put those on. But I just wanted to quickly drop by because when I fill you in later on my reading, my face is probably just gonna be absolutely frozen cold and my makeup will have just done some kind of very cold thing because it is freezing outside, although I don't think it looks very cloudy or anything. This is it. quite sunny, quite a nice day to go for a walk. But I have reading updates. I've started a new book. I finished the Vagina Monologues. The Vagina Monologues was really interesting, really enjoyed reading that. And I'm now reading Meet Cute Club, which is the book I said I was going to start reading. So I'm actually on track. But I'm going to fill you in later. I just wanted to do a quick hello, hi, welcome to Saturday. Hello, hello, hello. I returned from the land of busy doing things. It is Saturday evening and I'm here to tell you about these two books because this one I finished since the last time we spoke. Finished the Vagina Monologues. This was really, really interesting. It's a series of essays, well, not essays, monologues, inspired by / created on the back of interviews with over 200 women, from Eve Ensor interviewing them all. So many different women interviewed and so many different stories told within this book. It was really interesting and I felt like it was really insightful and also very empowering. So this is really good. I would say it definitely comes with trigger warnings because it does talk about stories where women have been sexually abused and raped, so just be aware of that going into it. After that, I picked up Meet Cute Club by Jack Harbon. This is a super short romance. It is an LGBT male-male romance between these two fellas here that I get the impression are really gonna not like each other for a little bit of time before they end up liking each other. I am 30 or so pages in at the moment, 38 pages in, so I'm not really too established yet, but this is only about 230 pages in itself, so it's not very long. I think this is an indie book. I think this might be self-published because there isn't the name of the publishers, but it does seem to be in a series called Sweet Rose, so I assume there's more from these characters or within this world. I'm enjoying it so far. It's cute. It's not blowing my mind completely, but it's a really nice story about a bookshop and someone that works there and someone that's running a book club and how they're kind of coming together. And I don't know where it's going to go, but obviously I assume there's going to be a romance between the two of them. That's my super exciting bookish updates. It is Saturday night. I am doing a live on Jodie's channel at 7. It is 5:15 now, so I'm probably just gonna chill, read a little bit. I need to vacuum, which is very thrilling, I know, and then go on the live at 7 after having some dinner. And then tomorrow is Valentine's Day, the day of romance. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna watch Marvel films and get a pizza takeaway. Very good idea, I think. So that's my weekend. I guess it makes sense to kind of semi-round this up now. I don't know if I'll speak to you after the live, but I'm gonna wrap up now because I feel like I'm not really gonna read too much before the live. And then after the live, I don't know what time it's gonna finish. I'm probably just gonna take my makeup off and chill. I'm just interrupting my past self. Ooh, it's a bit dark in here. Because I said I was closing out the vlog and then I went on the live and finished a book. So I feel I quickly need to tell you about that because otherwise it's just going to next week's vlog, and I finished it today, Saturday. It's still Saturday. So I finished Meet Cute Club and it was very smutty. I didn't really expect it to be quite so smutty. I'm not a massive fan of smut, but at the same time it was a cute story. It was a book about books. Yeah, it was kind of a book about books. It is a book about books. They're all kind of book clubby, but it's mainly about the guys' relationship with each other and the sex and stuff, so it's not purely about the books, but the books are there. I'm here for the books. And also the smut, apparently. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was very much driven by their romance for each other. I thought it was a hate to love type of thing, but they literally just hated each other for the span of like 40 pages, which didn't really feel long enough to really get the hatred boiling, which is again what leads me to think it's more smutty because it was much more about the passion between them and the sex and that side of it than actually building the plot and building the characteristics for them. But it wasn't bad. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't dislike it. I didn't love it. I was indifferent. It was good. And I was on the sprint when I finished that, so on the live when I finished that, so then I had to start something else. And I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I was like, I'm not going to start something else because A Court of Silver Flames comes out on Tuesday next week. I'm going to finish something else because I'm still rereading A Court of Wings and Ruin, which I don't think I've spoken about this week. But I've been listening to that in audiobook and I've got 30 pages left. And I was literally, I had my hood up and I was hiding in my hood. It was kind of like this. Because it was emotional and there was stuff that was happening that I forgot happened. And it just gave me many feelings and made me feel a lot of things. So I've got 30 pages left of that now, so I think I'm going to go finish that. And then read A Court of Silver, not A Court of Silver Flames, that's on Tuesday. Read A Court of Frost and Starlight before A Court of Silver Flames, and then I'll be completely up to date. So that was a quick update. I'll stop interrupting myself now, but I just wanted to let you know. So yeah, bye. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Comment down below your favourite walk that I've been on. Did I take you on many walks this week? We went on some walks, didn't we? It was a fun time. And subscribe to see more of my face on your feed in the future. Thank you so much, guys. Keep smiling and stay positive.